In this video, we have the top 10 hottest stock news of the day to help you be wealthy, to save the world, and save you time. Coming right up. Hi, I'm Raylin. Welcome back. How are you? I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Please like down below, comment what stocks you would like to see, and of course, subscribe to this channel for more daily stock news update. And as always, the timestamps are down below in the description box so you can see what's going on in the news, the latest updates for your favorite stock. This is Supergirl Investor here, saving the world and helping you become as wealthy as possible. But let's get started with the video right now. As always, I don't like to waste your time, so let's start with the hottest stock on the market right now that is trending very greatly, and this is ticker symbol AUPH. This is stock number 1 in the news. It's called Raylinaires. So this stock was actually suspended on Friday after hours after the FDA approved AUPH, the drug voclosporin for adult patients with active lupus nephritis. So this is such a hot stock right now because after hours the stock was suspended, which means that nobody could purchase it. So during pre-market tomorrow, it might skyrocket. However, please note that there is a conference call at 8:30 pre-market tomorrow morning. I think the CEO is going to discuss the plans moving forward after the FDA approval, and since it is on such a high right now, there's a lot of buzz about the company. I think he wants people to be more excited about the company and just propel that news forward. So it's a lot of big catalysts before the market opens tomorrow. So tune in for the conference at 8:30 on their website to see what all of the buzz is about and to make sure that they're taking the right steps for the FDA approval. Now, this is especially exciting because the shares have not spiked yet, and this is one of their core products that just got FDA approval, so it's a very big deal. So the product is the first FDA approved oral therapy for LN, lupus nephritis, a condition that causes irreversible kidney damage and increases the risk of kidney failure, cardiac events, and it could even lead to death. This product demonstrated significantly improved renal response rates compared to typical standard of care SOC in clinical trials, and it's now commercially available in the US. For those of you who don't know what LN is, it's basically a progression of the more subtler form, which is the SLE form of lupus, and as it said in this statement, it causes all types of damage, including death. Of course, you're seeing another name on there. It's called LPCN. It's generically known as voclosporin, becomes the second FDA-approved therapy for LN, with the first being GSK's Benlysta, which was approved as recently as last month. So that is their big competitor. Now, it says the potential revenues are a little bit skewed and a little bit varied, but worldwide, once approved, it could range from $1.5 billion to $3 billion per year, and that is not in the share price currently. Now, there are currently 1.5 million people in the US and actually 5 million people globally who have lupus. Right now, it's the only approved oral therapy for LN. So it's very undervalued considering the price of the potential revenue for this FDA approval. It says that fast, early, and effective intervention can change the course of disease and prevent end-stage disease. Voclosporin clinical data supports ability to deliver on all parameters. It's known as a fast, effective, and safe therapy for LN. Based on its phase 3 study results, you can see that there's control of active disease, rapid disease control, reduced steroid burden, convenient treatment regimen, which is not met in any of the other treatments. And in recent news before the FDA approval, it actually has started to commercialize this product already. It says that Raylinaires makes a deal with Otsuka for Europe, Japan, Analyst sees 53% upside, and I'm sure much more upside because of the FDA approval. So it has a deal with Japan's Otsuka pharmaceutical company for the development and sale of oral voclosporin for the treatment of LN outside the US. So not only are they going to US, they're going globally. As part of the agreement, AUPH will get an upfront cash payment of $50 million with the potential of receiving up to an additional $50 million in regulatory and reimbursement milestone payments. So expect a huge catalyst tomorrow. Expect a spike in the price because the price, as I said, was not put in on Friday because it got suspended. So be sure to do that pre-market if you're interested in this stock or would like to research it a little bit more. Please do your own DD. But also listen for the conference as well, because I anticipate it to be a good conference call about what they're going to be doing with this FDA approval. So it should make the price rise a little bit more as well. This is a good long-term hold because they have a lot of products down the pipeline as well. Number 2, this is a very little known stock, but I'm very interested in it, and it has some good potential catalysts coming up as well. This is ticker symbol TRIT, Triteris. And currently, if you look at it, there are 62% of insiders hold the shares of this and 30% of institutions that hold shares of this. So now the stock price actually looks really crazy. It looks like it's on a huge roller coaster ride. So what happened causing the huge dip was actually 2 short seller reports that happened. So it was nothing to do with the fundamentals of the actual company itself. And after this report from the short seller, the price dropped 50%. But the company has $190 million in cash on hand, so it does have a lot of runway. But what currently happened, which I found very interesting, is that they are doing a buyback program. So it popped as much as 17% this morning after the company announced a share purchase program and provided an update to investors. So that basically was a short seller report. Now Triteris actually responded to this accusation saying everything was false, saying that our volumes have demonstrated the precipitous drop alleged in the report is untrue. The platform has 66 traders and the business remains strong. The company also says that it has properly discussed all related party transactions. And then about 3 days ago, which has not been in the news, it hasn't been getting a lot of attractiveness with the stock price, and it's not seen in the stock price yet. So it's a very good catalyst is that they have a $50 million buyback program. So they took this as an opportunity to repurchase shares. So the board has authorized a $50 million buyback program. And this is going to remove $6 million of shares in outstanding float. It says that the CEO also has recently bought in December 170,000 shares because he believes in this company so much. So because it's gone down so much because of the short seller report, and the short seller report was false, I think there's huge upsides. Plus, there's an average price target of $19. Yes, you heard that right, $19. So it could go up exponentially. There was actually just a report from another top analyst that gave it a $23 price target. So just be on the lookout for this to go up very quickly. They think it's going to be a global leader in finance and transactions. So just expect it to raise in price this week. Number 3, we have another stock that is going crazy, and for the right reason. This is ticker symbol ATOS, aka ATOS Therapeutics. It's a pharmaceutical stock that is currently on the forefront of creating a COVID-19 nasal spray. I already take a nasal spray, so this would be fantastic. There's an extremely low float on this, so do expect it to be volatile, which could be a good thing because the price can skyrocket. It's currently at a $133 million market cap. So right now there's a lot of institutional investors as well. We have Vanguard, we have Morgan Stanley, we have Goldman Sachs, we have Renaissance. They're all in it. It's very small positions, but they're all in it. Currently at a buy rating with a average price target of $6.25. I believe that Maxim Group actually has it at a $5 stock. Analysts who follow ATOS on average expect it to gain 308% over the next 12 months. ATOS Therapeutics develops and markets medical devices, laboratory tests, and therapeutics to address breast health conditions in the US. Now, I know that seems very funny that they're doing a nasal spray right now, but they are taking liberties in developing different therapeutics to save the world, which, hey, I love that. The company's lead program is the development of endoxifen, which is in phase 2 studies to treat and prevent breast cancer. And a major catalyst for this, why it's in the news and why it is our top 3 pick, is because the data of the phase 1 is expected in Q1, which is right now, of 2021. And this is from a lot of direct offerings that they did, but that hasn't shown up in any of the institutions yet. So that's also a major catalyst moving forward, is seeing the company's name as an initial purchase from several institutions that are buying. Here are more of the upcoming milestones. Here's a little summary of that. We have the COVID-19 inhalation, which is the Q4 2020 and regulatory approval to open study, which already happened. The Q1 2021 commence initial ATOS 201 study. And then for the nasal spray, we have the Q1 2021 study results for phase 1, which I just talked about. And for breast health, we have the Q1 2021 launch phase 2 MBD study. So once we hear about all of these, it will be a major spike to the price, whether good or bad, depending on the results. So why I want to talk about this so much is because on January 26th at 11:30 a.m. with free registration, they are going to talk about the nasal spray that they are doing, the results of that, what to expect from it. So it should be a huge thing. They're already announcing that on Twitter, and it's gaining a lot of popularity. And I just absolutely love how innovative this company is. So their focus is mainly on breast cancer, but for them to pivot that much to something that's really disrupting the world right now for not so great reasons, for them to be able to do something with that, I think that's very smart of them, and I think that will bring a lot of awareness to them, and it will save a lot of lives. News number 4. So this week is going to be absolutely jam-packed with earnings reports, and if you want to see my whole list, all the list of the earnings reports for next week, stay at the end of this video because I just list down all of the earnings reports so you know which stocks that you invest in or potentially invest in may or may not dip, may spike up a little bit more due to earnings reports. So stay until the end to hear the whole list of earnings reports that will happen this week. But what I wanted to specifically talk about is Tesla. Yes, Tesla is in the news again, but it's because of the earnings report. So they will discuss their Q4 2020 earnings release after the close. There will be a conference call at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The projected earnings per share is 0.63 cents. So there's a lot of expectations for this company. Everyone is expecting huge results for them. So if they miss, then their stock price will go down like a souffle. But just expect that. They're expecting 18.7 million EV cars in the market by 2030, which means that there will be 3.5 million cars per year, EV cars per year, that they're expecting by 2030. So this is going to be a huge catalyst because TSLA is a big deal, but we need to be seeing the numbers. Now, what I also wanted to talk about was House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on December 22nd, 2020, actually bought 25 Tesla call options with a $500 strike price and an expiration date of 3/12/2022. She paid $500,000 to $1 million for the call, and you can see right there the documents for that. Now, I just think this is really good for the stock price in general because now it's backed by the Speaker of the House, and I think that this will actually be a pretty good catalyst to have Speaker Pelosi actually going into the stock. Number 5. Now, this was actually requested from my Twitter friends. I love each and every one of you, the followers, and this is ticker symbol SENS, Sensonic. So for those of you that don't know, Sensonic is actually the first and only Eversense long-term CGM that is good for up to 90 days for people with diabetes. Its leading competitor is Dexcom, which only monitors for 9 days. Now, there's some risks to Dexcom and there's some risk to Sensonics, but basically that Dexcom can be used at home, while Sensonic you need a little bit of an in-body procedure. Basically no stitches, just a little bandage, but you do need to calibrate it twice a day, so it's a little bit of give and take on both products. The share price fell 30%, more than 30%, because they increased their offering. I think this is a really good thing. It shows that there's a lot of demand for their stock, and it shows that there's going to be a lot of long-term investors that are interested in the stock. So basically it said on the 22nd that SENS Holdings increases size of public offering to 51.9 million shares. Sensonic Holdings said the underwriter of its previously announced public offering has agreed to increase the size of the offering, and it's priced at $1.925 a share. And it's expected to close on the 26th, so that is a major catalyst in the stock, is that it's going to close on the 26th. Expect the share prices to go a little bit higher. Sensonic Holdings said it intends to use the net proceeds from this offering for general corporate purposes, including product development focused on working to complete clinical development, secure regulatory approval, and support anticipated commercial launch of the 365-day period, supporting the collaboration with Ascensia Diabetes Care, and funding working capital and capital expenditures. Sensonic is currently at $2.09. Now watch out for another catalyst, because they're expecting approval for a 180-day in 2021. What I also wanted to note about this company is something that will expand the company and scale out the company even more, so expecting much more revenue from it. Senseonics announces a positive coverage decision for Eversense CGM from Emblem Health. I know everybody's heard of that. Adds nearly 2.9 million covered lives for Eversense CGM, a medical technology company focused on the development and commercialization of long-term implantable CGM systems for people with diabetes, announced today that Emblem Health is now providing coverage for the Eversense CGM system effective immediately. This recent coverage decision adds to the growing number of payers who are writing Eversense into their CGM coverage policies, as well as paying for the healthcare provider's time for the in-office sensor placement. This policy expands access to approximately 2.9 million residents of these 3 states of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Improved glucose control has always been the goal for healthcare professionals and patients. Now that goal is even more imperative as the pandemic has revealed the negative consequences of poor glucose management in patients who contract the virus as well. So again, look for the price to go up on the 26th, and I'm actually really excited for their offering because I want to see what's coming up, and be on the lookout for the 180 days and 360 days as well. Top stock number 5 in the news is DermTech, ticker symbol DMTK. Now, DermTech has about a $1 billion market cap, and it's basically an at-home melanoma skin kit, which I think is absolutely amazing. As you can see, I have a lot of freckles, so it's really good to make sure and monitor all of the freckles and all of the dark spots on your face just to make sure they're not malignant. And why it's in the news and the share price hasn't really spiked up too much is because Oppenheimer initiated an outperform for this stock at $53 per share. So it's getting a lot of buzz around that. And it's actually 43% owned by institutions. We have Vanguard and BlackRock that have small positions in it. And it's covered by Medicare, so we don't need to worry about that. It currently has $125 million in cash, so it has a great runway, and it's increasing revenue. It has $1.2 million in Q3 2020, which is a 220% increase. And this was recently in the news. It's a leader in precision dermatology enabled by a non-invasive skin genomics platform, Genomic Sector, announced today that non-invasive genomic patch testing for melanoma, like Dermatech's pigmented lesion assay, has received a recommendation from the NCCN, the National Comprehensive Cancer Network. The recommendation indicates that there is uniform NCCN consensus that the intervention is appropriate. They recognize the use of non-invasive genomic patch testing to help guide biopsy decisions for cutaneous melanoma. Now, non-invasive just means that it's out of body, so there's no surgical procedures. So you know, the NCCN guidelines are the recognized standard for clinical policy in cancer care and the most detailed clinical practice guidelines available in any area of medicine. The recommendation for pre-diagnosis non-invasive genomic patch testing. DermTech is helpful in guiding biopsy decisions and foster earlier melanoma detection, said the chief medical officer of DermTech. So I just wanted to put this on everyone's radars because I know immediately as I say the word genomics, you're thinking of ARK Invest, and they might potentially do this. They are thinking about cancer testing. They're very involved with that. So this may be the direction that they're going in. I think this is going to show huge revenue, and I believe that it's going to be a huge catalyst for their earnings report because of the pandemic. I think there's a lot of demand for being healthier and getting tested. So with their at-home test kits, I think that it's going to bring in a lot of revenue because you can do it at home and it's much easier. Again, this was from one of my YouTubers that wanted to talk about DermTech. So thank you very much for bringing that one up, and look out for those major catalysts. Number 7, this is a huge stock, and I know as soon as I talk about offerings, you know exactly which stock I'm talking about. It's NNDM, or Nano Dimension. And I wanted to bring this up because there are 2 major catalysts that have been overlooked by several analysts. So Nano Dimensions appoints Dr. Eli David to the board of directors. Who is Dr. Eli David? He is a world-renowned AI expert specializing in deep learning and evolutionary computation with over 50 papers published in leading artificial intelligence journals and conferences. He also is an AI consultant to several Fortune 500 companies, and the CEO of Nano Dimension currently commented, "I am thrilled to have Dr. David join our board of directors as a leading global thought leader in AI and a member of the Forbes Technology Council. His expertise and global business connections will be invaluable as we develop an advanced AI application in machine learning. I look forward to Dr. David's input towards our next generation 3D AME technology, which is envisioned to evolve into a network of high fabrication and assembly systems of HiPEDs, high performance electronic devices." So they're moving into the HiPED section, which I think is I think that's amazing. I think with this new direction towards more of an AI and high performance technology sector, I think that they will create more of a unique niche. I am confident that Nano Dimension will benefit from employing advanced AI and specifically neural networks for dramatically improving and optimizing its fabrication processes. I am so excited about this. This just shows that they are getting faster, stronger, better with AI, and specifically they want to delve into the neural networks. So they're trying to expand already in the early stages, which is great. So be on the lookout for fast and ever-evolving products that they have. Specifically with AI, they're trying to get a more intelligent AI. And then the other major catalyst that I wanted to talk about, which may not be very favorable with people, but there might be another direct offering coming very soon. Right now they have $1 billion in cash. And of course, if you don't know what they are a 3D industrial digital manufacturing. And just so you know, that takes a lot of cash in the early stages, and they are in the early stages. They've had 7 offerings in 4 months. Right now, the current price looks very overbought, so I definitely think that management sees that as an opportunity to do another direct offering because the demand is there and they're trying to keep the price lower just so it doesn't explode and then you have a huge pump and dump. They don't want that. They want it to be a nice, steady, long-term company, and long-term companies have healthy pullbacks. So for this catalyst, just be out on the lookout for an offering, just because the price has gone up a lot more. Number 8, and this is one of my long-term plays. It's not a FANG, but it should be. It's Microsoft. So the first catalyst is on Tuesday, January 26th. Microsoft, the global technology giant, is expected to report a profit of $1.64 in the fiscal second quarter, which represents year-over-year growth of about 8.6% from the same quarter last year when the company reported $1.51 per share. Revenue forecast comes at $40.23, up from the $36.91 billion reported the same quarter a year earlier. This highlights the durability of Microsoft's commercial businesses and conservatism in forward consensus expectations. So if we have great earnings and they beat earnings, expect that the share price will go up a little bit more. But if not, if they miss, the stocks tend to go down a lot. Also, if they don't give a forecast for that, the share price of a lot of stocks have been going down as well. I think the FANG stocks, as well as Tesla and Microsoft, are definitely in high demand right now. There's a lot of expectations on them, and if they don't beat analysts' expectations by a lot, expect a huge pullback. Something else that happened over the weekend, which I think will help Microsoft not only in the long term, but also a little bit of a short spike, is that gamers threatened to defect to PlayStation after Xbox Live price hikes. Microsoft said Friday it will jack up the price of its Xbox Live Gold memberships, provoking threats from some game users to go to rival PlayStation. A 1-month membership to the Xbox Live, which is necessary to play games like Call of Duty online, is increasing from $10 to $11, with a 3-month plan is jumping $5 to $30. The price of a full year of Xbox Live Gold has effectively doubled from $5 per month to $10 per month. So as you can expect, a lot of users were not very happy with this. One person wrote, "Can't wait to go into debt and sell all my organs just to afford Xbox Live Gold," which is kind of hilarious. But Twitter was not happy about this. Microsoft recently responded and said in a blog post defending it, saying that the price of Xbox Live Gold has not changed for years, and in some markets it hasn't changed for over 10 years. So that's basically what happened after the announcement of what they had responded with In the tweets that everyone was complaining about and really did not take a very good fancy to, they said, breaking news, Microsoft announces it will not change Xbox Live Gold's pricing and reveals free-to-play games will no longer require an Xbox Live Gold membership to play. So they were listening to the customer service and they made sure that their long-term retention rate on customers was increasing. So I think this is going to be something really good for the stock price especially. So basically Call of Duty, you can play Fortnite. The third catalyst for Microsoft is also that they plan on helping the pandemic as well. Now, as you recall, Amazon was helping the pandemic with the letter to Biden, and the shares spiked tremendously because of that. So hopefully we'll see that during this week as well. It says Microsoft sees opportunity in health data amid pandemic. The chief medical officer told Yahoo Finance that the company is working with both public and private partners on its recently launched vaccine platform for cloud and artificial intelligence. Vaccination process is unlike anything before, unlike the flu shot, for instance, where sufficient numbers of vaccines are available. Ideally, the medical community would be able to track each vial and its usage and ensure that all ages, income levels, and ethnic groups are able to access vaccines. That's why the build-out of tech infrastructure for the vaccine must be robust, able to track who is receiving vaccines, and determine if any focused campaigns are needed to target more uptake and distribution. He includes that creating a dashboard for each clinical setting where vaccines are being administered and ensuring numerous avenues to follow up are available for reminding patients about second doses. As we know that all of the vaccines that have come out so far require a second dosage, and many patients may not be aware of that or may not remember. During the recent 2021 JP Morgan Healthcare Conference, the company announced a new partnership with the Broad Institute of MIT and Harvard and Verily, an alphabet company, to accelerate health and life science research through their Terra platform to increase accessibility to more than 168,000 organizations. The CEO goes on to say that through this partnership, we will apply the power of Microsoft Azure and its enterprise-grade capabilities in security and privacy, along with cutting-edge data and AI solutions to deliver on the vision of the Terra platform at a new level of scale. So basically what this platform is doing, it's partnering with the leaders in AI to create a system that tracks the vaccines and helps patients remind of a second dosage. So be on the lookout for a catalyst as far as that's concerned, because that's not in the share price yet either. So hopefully that will happen in this week. Stock number 9, I'm very excited about this one because it's little known, undervalued, and has tremendous potential. This is ticker symbol LPCN, LPCN. Now, currently Vanguard and BlackRock own about 6% of this company and have increased their shares. It's a biopharmaceutical company focused on endocrine disorders and user drug delivery technologies. They have a lot in their pipeline. One of the larger gainers of the day on January 20th is LPCN. During trading and into after hours, shot up around 26%. LPCN was positively affected by the onslaught of the pandemic. LPCN has a focus on treating metabolic and endocrine disorders. It has a large portfolio of drugs in its pipeline that are currently in various trial stages. This includes its lead product, which is known as TLANDO, an oral testosterone therapy. TLANDO is currently in a phase 2b trial to see its efficacy and safety in treating NASH disorders. 1144 showed statistical significance in its ability to treat men with NASH. So for those of you who don't know, TLANDO is an oral product for men with low testosterone, really anyone with low testosterone, and it's a testosterone replacement therapy. There are currently 20 million men in the US with low testosterone. Now this will be a $1 to $2 billion market in the next upcoming years. It's rapidly growing. These could be good catalysts, these could be bad catalysts. It just depends on what the research shows. So be very careful with this one. It's a little bit riskier, but it could be more rewarding. So the potential catalyst is that we are going to see a trial on February 8th, 2021 for the lawsuit that is the countersue of LPCN versus Claris. And what's going to happen is if LPCN wins, then Claris cannot sell their Jitenzo, which will be off of the market, which is their exact competitor. So basically they will have the market open for them to sell their new product. The other thing that I was mentioning was NASH, which is a very serious liver disease. It may progress to liver failure. And this is another product that they're working on solving to get the treatment for. It essentially means that there's too much liver fat. 17 million of US citizens have this, and it could go to 27 million people in 2030. So it's a very serious disease. There currently is no treatment for NASH. And there's not many competitors, so this is a really great catalyst. They're in phase 2 right now, so expect results from that and expect that to be a wide open market. Could it be approved? Could it not be approved? We have to wait and see, but it's a really good catalyst. And last but not least, number 10, we have a very juicy, rare stock, which is ticker symbol DTIL. This is called Precision Biosciences, and it's basically a direct competitor to CRISPR. This is a gene editor with precision proprietary named ARCUS, and it's basically an enzyme called ICREL to splice genes to allow more precise cuts with less error-prone process than CRISPR. And it basically makes it less risk adverse than CRISPR because it produces less off targets, which means abnormalities don't show up as much. So it's much more precise, and it's also smaller, which makes it more accurate. They currently have more than 5 clinical tests. And what's interesting about ARCUS instead of CRISPR, CRISPR must be used with gene editing, but ARCUS can be used in medicine and gene editing, as well as other platforms. So they can use it in agriculture, and they can also use it for the environment as well. The key milestones that it has in 2021 announced in vivo gene editing collaboration with Lilly to develop up to 6 targets, including DMD, $135 million in upfront cash. Achieved 83% objective response rate, and then it initiated 2 clinical trials and filed for an IND in stealth cell. Now, the clinical update is expected by mid-2021, so expect results for that. That's a major milestone. Also expect results for phase 1 for the interim data to be expected in 2021 as well. They currently have a small partnership with Eli Lilly, so it shows huge potential, and this is a really great penny stock to be a part of. It has a market cap of less than $800 million versus CRISPR, which has a $15 billion market cap, so it is very undervalued, and it should be more precise than CRISPR as well. And they have a great runway because, as I said, Eli Lilly they partnered with, and it caused $100 million of cash on hand for them. So they have a lot of products, they have a huge pipeline, and again, it's all about the results and the data from the different clinical trials that they're doing, and they're doing over 5, so expect a lot of catalysts from that. So this is a very hot stock, and since it's competing with one of the lead gene editors, CRISPR, it has a lot of upside, and if it is more precise, if the research does show something that's better or more precise than the leader, then it could be something really huge. And plus they're working in different sectors with agriculture and environmentalism. And on top of that, there was a Zacks blog that said Precision Biosciences new lymphoma drug IND gets FDA nod. DTIL announced that the FDA has accepted its investigational new drug application seeking approval for initiation of a clinical study on its next-generation stealth cell. The company believes that by reducing rejection by each cell type, the candidate holds potential for improved persistence of CAR T cells. So they went up about 30% on January 19th following the IND acceptance. The company has developed the candidate using its proprietary ARCUS genome editing platform. The company has developed several other candidates using this platform. Currently, it is developing its lead allogenic candidate in a phase 1/2A study as a potential treatment of leukemia. Earlier this month, Precision Biosciences announced a collaboration and licensing agreement with Eli Lilly, granting the latter access to its proprietary genome editing platform to develop potential in vivo therapies for treating genetic disorders, especially Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and 2 other undisclosed gene targets. Now, this company is a little bit more secretive just because it is a proprietorship and it has the patents to prove it, but it is a very special gene editor just because it is smaller and it is more precise, but it has a lot more capabilities within a whole huge market cap. And we know the sector as a whole for the genomic space is going to skyrocket. We've already seen that in the past year of 2020, and I do believe this might be something that ARK Invest will eventually invest in if they see more products down the pipeline. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful for the top 10 hottest stock news updates. Please like and subscribe to this channel and comment below what stock you would like me to check out. I did a stock from one of the YouTube comments for this top 10 stock pick, and I also did one on my Twitter feed if you would like to follow me there for the latest updates in the stock market. And stay for the end of this video just to go over every single one of the earnings reports, because there is a lot of them if you are interested in that and listening to see if your favorite stock is on there and what the expectations are for that. Thank you so much for listening to this, and if you found this enjoyable at all, please share it. I love each and every one of you, and thank you so much. Go and crush the market tomorrow. So on Tuesday, we have Johnson & Johnson reporting a Q4 2020 earnings release before the bell conference call at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with a projected earnings per share of $1.81. They are expected to, as Kramer said, show some leg on the clinical trial of the century, their one-and-done vaccine candidate that could take this country back to somewhat like it was before the pandemic. Next, we have General Electric on Tuesday as well, which is going to have a conference call at 8:00 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The projected estimates of earnings per share are 8 cents profitable. Kramer said, if you believe, as I do, that travelers will start flying once again we beat the virus, well, this one's for you. Advanced Micro Devices reports the earnings after close on Tuesday, a conference call at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with an estimated earnings per share of 41 cents profitable. Kramer said, I think Intel's disappointment last night could be good news for arch rival AMD because AMD's done a much better job of breaking into the hottest categories with its chips. I'm predicting a blowout. So that is a lot of expectation. Also, Microsoft is going to be on Tuesday as well, which it's reporting its Q2 fiscal 2021 earnings release after the close with a conference call at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. They have a projected estimated earnings per share of $1.64. Kramer said, I think this business is amazing, and I have to agree with him. So Starbucks Latte Love is reporting Q1 fiscal 2021 earnings release after the close conference call at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The estimated earnings per share at 55% profitable. Kramer said, I say at this point now you've got to wait to buy Starbucks until after they report if you want to own it. Interesting. So on Wednesday, we have a lot of earnings reports as well. First, we have Boeing on Wednesday, Q4 2020 earnings released before the bell. Conference call at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have an estimated earnings per share of $1.60. And Kramer said, which I announced in my last video, that the 737 MAX is finally airborne and the orders are trickling in. Personally, I wouldn't say that has anything to do with the earnings report. But he goes on to say that China will respond with massive aircraft orders, especially if Biden shows a better tie with China than Trump did. We also have Apple on Wednesday, Q1 fiscal 2021 earnings release after the closed conference call at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with an estimated earnings per share of $1.39. Kramer said, I bet Apple, I think it's going to be incredibly upbeat about its entire product line. I definitely agree with that. He says the one wild card is currency. Apple has left so much money on the table because of the strong dollar, but the greenback got much weaker this quarter. I think that's going to matter. I agree. So on Wednesday, we also have Facebook Q4 2020 earnings release after the closed conference call at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, projected earnings per share of $3.21. Kramer said, given the fact that so many small and medium-sized businesses rely on them for advertising, he says they'll do really well. Also, we have Tesla on Wednesday, which I recommended in this video to check out for its catalyst this upcoming week. On Wednesday, Q4 2020 earnings release after the closed conference call at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It has an estimated earnings per share of 63 cents. Kramer said, we know Tesla is doing well because they give us so much information each month. Now on Thursday, it's also a jam-packed earnings report. We have McDonald's on Thursday, Q4 2020 earnings release before the bell, conference call at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with an estimated EPS of $1.75. Kramer said, right now, McDonald's trading like the quarter will be a bad one. I think that's too negative. So he's basically predicting that it's not going to be good. Also, we have a MasterCard on Thursday as well, Q4 2020 earnings release before the bell, conference call at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with an estimated EPS of $1.53. Kramer said, we're sticking with it because MasterCard could be a tremendous story once cross-border travel comes back. He does say a big competitor that might win is PayPal for this company. We also have Visa, which is one of the competitors as well, on Thursday, Q1 fiscal 2021 earnings release after the closed conference call at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, projected EPS $1.27. We have Skyworks Solutions as well on Thursday, Q1 fiscal 2021 earnings release after the closed conference call at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with an estimated EPS of $1.83. Kramer said, I think it's going to be a blowout and you don't have to worry about Chinese exposure anymore. On Friday, we also have a few earnings reports as well. We have Honeywell at Q4 2020 earnings release before the bell, conference call at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, projected EPS of $2 exactly. Kramer said, the aerospace division isn't ready to roll yet because of the pandemic, but it's going to be good once we get herd immunity. Also, we have Caterpillar Q4 2020 earnings release before the bell on Friday, conference call at 8:30 a.m. pre-market Eastern Standard Time, estimated EPS $1.45. Kramer said this stock goes up even if the numbers aren't that good because there's so much hope for a big infrastructure bill and better relations with China. I agree with this. Eli Lilly on Friday, Q4 2020 earnings release before the bell, conference call at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, projected earnings per share $2.34. Kramer said the pipeline is spectacular here with superb COVID drugs and Alzheimer's. The biggest unmet need will move the stock to $210. That's a pretty big release. So I hope you like this. Have a wonderful day and happy investing.